Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ignore the green screen, it'll go away soon. I just turned it on. But today we have the new team of the week. We're going to be talking about it, taking a look at it, all that little fun stuff there. How do I just click the whole thing? Ah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So obviously when we look at these team of the weeks, we're going to be looking at cards that are kind of like worth looking into, and then we just kind of like move on from there. So one of the cards that I'm looking forward to potentially getting, maybe, hopefully, would be great if I did, is Nelson Semedo. And because I have a favoritism towards Portuguese, like if they give me a Nelson Semedo and a Paulo Dybala option or Alejandro Gomez option, I'm obviously going to go with the meta players in Gomez and Dybala. But if you give me like Bergwijn or Immobile or Plee, like I'm going to get Nelson Semedo. You know what I'm saying? But if they give me Gomez or Dybala, I'll go with those cards, right? But Gomez looks like he'd be fantastic in this game because of the way that it works right now, right? So let's just take a look at the cards. Which ones would be good, great, bad, whatever it is, right? Paulo Dybala is obviously one of them that you would get. If you look at the card, you slap a Hunter on him. That's the only card you can slap on him for him to be like really, really good. I think this card would be fantastic, right? I think that he would be a ton of fun to use. 80 stamina is really good. If you use a 4-4-2 setup, he could potentially be a really good striker. Obviously, the lack of that weak foot really sucks. He does have a 3-star weak foot, but he is left-footed, so I'm pretty sure that if you get that little cut inside, right, and then shoot the ball with him, I think he's going to be really awesome in that regard. The good thing about this card, right, is that you don't have to slap a sniper on him, right, because his pace is low, but if you give him a Hunter, his dribbling is already good enough. Well, it is good enough, but it's not full meta, but it's still good enough. He's still going to move really nicely. He is 5'10" with a medium work rates. He's going to be a really, really great card to use if you guys do end up getting him as a red card. I'm very excited for this FUT chat. That's what I'm saying. Like, I made that video in regards to the delay situation, and it is really bad, but FUT Champs rewards, I don't like FUT Champs as a game mode, and I think it should be done differently, but I look forward to the rewards and trying to potentially get these cards, right? Because I think them as red cards would be really, really nice to collect in your team and just make really good squads, right? Like if you get, I think you have like 3 selections for FUT Champs, and if you get like Theo Hernandez, Nelson Semedo, and Paulo Dybala, they're very, very good selections, right? So, but yeah, a really good card. His weak foot's obviously the problem. Maybe the work rate's a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Immobile, I think, will be very usable, actually. His shooting is already very good, so what you can consider doing on his card is giving him, I think it is an engine card, which I'm pretty sure I just went over. There it is, engine, right? To increase his balance as much as possible and his agility, because obviously his pace is not the greatest, but his dribbling is really, really not the greatest, right? So trying to make him as responsive as possible would probably be the most ideal thing to do. You could give him a Hunter card, and it still gives him really good upgrades, right? It gives him the increase in pace and the increase in shooting, but the dribbling will always be like a noticeable thing on his card. Reactions could make the dribbling slightly better because his reactions is actually quite nice, but definitely try out this card if you guys do get him. He looks pretty solid. I would actually try this card for fun in my team. Like if I were to pack him, I wouldn't be too upset because it's one of those like physical strikers you could just have fun with, like just chilling in your team or whatever it is, right? He does have the 4-star weak foot, doesn't have the skill moves, but the 4-star weak foot I think is most important when it comes to the strikers in the game. He has good shooting, so the thing about this game, right, is that it's all about taking that one touch and then shooting it instantly, right? But there are moments where you need him to move really, really quickly and have this agile presence in him where he's just not going to give that to you, right? So take that into account. Bergwijn, blah, blah. He looks pretty solid, actually. If you give him... His pace is okay. His pace is okay. I'd still slap a Hunter on him, to be honest with you, because his dribbling looks kind of nice, right? It already looks decent because it gives you 10 and 10 for the pace, right? +5 in finishing, +10 in shot power. He is 4-star skills with a 2-star weak foot. For me personally, I wouldn't really use this card, but if you do get him, I mean, you know, if you're Dutch or if you're a fan of the Eredivisie, then really entirely up to you. Plea, he is, or Playa? Might be Playa because of the little thing right there. But yeah, I mean he's the thing about this card is that he's like the cheap option to get as a striker in the beginning, right? Like when you look at the card stats in the beginning, it's like, oh, here's like a cheap option that's like pretty decent, right? He's got a nice little 4-star skills, blah blah, but I don't know necessarily for the week, for the inform, to be honest with you. Jorginho would be great if his pace wasn't so crappy. Like if he had like 77 pace, then the card would be really great. But 57 is way too low. Verratti, same exact thing. I'm very surprised that Paulo Sarabia is not in this because I think he scored a goal and 2 assists for the PSG game recently. So that's a little bit odd. Gomez is obviously an obvious one that'd be like really, really good. There's no question about it. His dribbling is already really good. His pace is actually very solid in regards to acceleration. So maybe you can consider maybe looking into upgrading his pace by 5. Yeah, the problem is that like you need to upgrade the shooting. But if you give him a hunter, I'd still give him a hunter, even though it's like only a 4 and a 10. Just because it gives him such a great shooting stats and his dribbling is already really, really good. So I'd still give him a hunter, to be honest with you. The card looks really good, though. The card looks fantastic. I would 100% use this card on my team. He looks really, really awesome. Lacks the physical and the height, but not a big issue. Nelson Semedo, I want to see like what the difference is. Okay. So this card would still be fantastic to get because if you look at the differences of stats, it's still... So, like, even on 7 chemistry, that's the thing about these cards, right? So, like, when you look at this, right? The 3s and the 2s in the defense, they kind of make a difference. Because every other stat gets increased, too. So, his dribbling gets increased, which will be noticeable. His pace wasn't really increased. And his passing being slightly increased is going to be nice as well. But even this card on 7 chemistry would still be really, really good to use. So let's just check him out on 7 chemistry. I would probably slap an anchor on him, right? So you can see that he has 94 acceleration, 96 sprint speed. But look, anchor still gives him very good stats. So 87, 86, 86, 90, 89. But these stats are improved just from the inform itself. So it really depends on how you look at it, right? Because if you look at it from the rare gold card, right? And then you give him 10 chemistry with an anchor card. What I actually want to do here is I want to put him over here instead. And that's for the rare gold inform. Okay, so the inform would be on 7 chemistry because you'd play him on the right side or the left side to start off. Or you could play him on the right side right away for the 7 chemistry. 7 chemistry and then an anchor on him, right? So when you look at the stat differences, right? When you're looking at the stat differences, you're still getting an improvement on the card. You guys see what I'm saying? You're not necessarily getting the pace increase like you would on a full 10 chemistry player. But if you look at the defending stats, you get a little bit of a downgrade as well, right? A little bit of a downgrade as well from the rare gold card. Excuse me. But you get the increase in the dribbling and whatnot, right? So, you know, if you get this card, you save money because the rare gold card is 47k, right? So if you were to get the inform, you save money, but you get downgrades of -1s and -2s essentially from 7 chemistry. So it really just depends on how you view it. If I were to get this card, I would still use them on that 7 chemistry because obviously I'd be saving money regardless, but it would be nice if EA introduced left backs to right back position changes because I feel like that'd be very helpful. This guy is actually a very good goalkeeper. I've seen him being used as a cheap option in the game, and you know he does really, really well. So if you were to pack him, he's not too bad as well. Bayern Leverkusen is all right. All the guys on the bench kind of suck. Wesley, I guess, if you guys like those types of players. Theo Hernandez would be a big one too. Great pace, great everything. He is already a left back. He's the only meta left back in the Serie A, I believe. So if you slap a nice little anchor on him, right, he would be a really nice card. 5 and 5, great defending stats, great physical stats. He would be really, really good to get as well. Really enjoyed using his rare gold card for the time being, or in the beginning. So I think his left back card would be significantly better. I think that's going to be an expensive card for sure. Adama Traore, I think he started off as a right wing back in the game with Wolves, but then I think Nuno switched him to striker to score more of those opportunities, and that's how he did score. He wasn't really playing right wing back in those positions, but I guess they do it off of what the player was starting off in. But yeah, it's an okay team of the week. It's not amazing. I didn't expect this team of the week to be that great, to be honest with you, because there wasn't really like standout performers this year. Dybala got one, I guess, for the Inter versus Juve game. Verratti got one, even though Verratti didn't. I'm surprised Verratti got one, to be honest with you. He didn't really do anything in that PSG game. Sarabia, I think, did more than him, so that's a little bit odd that he got one, to be honest. This right back Rodriguez card actually looks kind of sick. He plays in the Mexican League. Yeah, he looks really solid actually. For like, dude, I like cards like this because like if I was Mexican, like I'd be a fan of getting that card because Mexico don't have that many good players in FIFA. So getting a right back that has a very usable card is really nice. Because if you look at his non-rare, and the non-rare is very generic, but then the inform gets significantly increased. So that's a really big inform if you're Mexican or a fan of the Mexican League. I think it's fantastic. Would I use it meta-wise? Not necessarily, but it's still really, really great to get a card like that. And then everything else is like very, very generic stuff. So not a crazy team of the week, but it's what we got for this week. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.